Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to today's City Council meeting. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Schwedhelm.
Here.
Councilmember Sawyer.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Present.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Present.
Mayor Rogers.
Here.
Let the record show that all council members are present.
Great, thank you so much. We have no closed session today. We had no study sessions. We don't have any report outs from there, so we will go on to our proclamations at the start of the day. We have item 6.1. It's a proclamation in support of our sister city, Cherkasy, Ukraine. This did not appear on the council's preliminary agenda. The Brown Act says that we have to have things listed 72 hours before the meeting unless there are circumstances that dictate urgency where it was not foreseen that we would need an item on here. So what the council would need to do in order to take up item 6.1 is to have a motion, have public comment, and have a vote on finding urgency and need to add the proclamation here absent the Brown Act. So first I'll open it up and I'll see if there are any questions from council. Otherwise, I'll see if there's any public comment on folks on adding the proclamation to the agenda. And we can have public comments separate on the proclamation after, should we go forward. Great, thank you. I'll see if there's any public comment on Zoom.
Mayor, there are no hands raised.
Great, I'll entertain a motion from the council.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion from Councilmember Sawyer and a second from Councilmember Rogers to find sufficient urgency to add the item to the agenda. Let's go ahead and call the vote.
Councilmember
Sorry, my apologies. We have a question from Councilmember Fleming.
Yeah, I was wondering, City Attorney, if you could review the things. Is there more besides just something that we couldn't have foreseen?
Pardon, it is to determine the two required findings under the Brown Act are that there is a need for immediate action and that the need for action arose after the posting of the agenda, which it did. The early agenda policy, which is a separate, the local policy, does not apply here because this is not a this is a proclamation, and that does not apply to proclamations.
And how would we define need to do this?
The Brown Act does not define it, so that is up to the council to determine again whether there is a need for immediate action.
Since we have a motion on the floor, I'll just say that, while really important, I'm not sure that I see a need to take action today. I think we could take action at our next council meeting. It would have about the same impact as it would today.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember. Let's go ahead and call the vote to add the proclamation to the agenda.
Councilmember Schwedhelm.
Aye.
Councilmember Sawyer.
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers.
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald.
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming.
No.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Aye.
Mayor Rogers.
Aye.
That motion passes with 6 ayes, with Councilmember Fleming voting no.
Great. Thank you so much, Madam City Clerk. Mr. Sawyer, could you please read the proclamation?
I will. Thank you, Mayor. Whereas the city of Santa Rosa has been a sister city with the city of Cherkasy, Ukraine, since 1990, and whereas the cities of Santa Rosa and Cherkasy have developed deep and meaningful bonds of friendship through the cultural exchanges of people of all ages, Santa Rosa and Cherkasy residents, staying in each other's homes and sharing each other's lives. And whereas American-Ukrainian relations have long served as an example and a foundation for security, freedom, the development of democracy and human rights in Eastern Europe and across the globe. And whereas Ukraine and the Ukrainian people represent a distinct culture with a long, proud history, and whereas self-determination is an inalienable right of all people around the world, including the Ukrainian people, and whereas a free and independent Ukraine is of vital importance to protecting the Ukrainian people, their history, culture, literature, music, traditions, language, and art. And whereas the county of Ukraine, or country of Ukraine, is facing unprovoked, unrestrained, and unconscionable military aggression from the Russian Federation. And whereas the Ukrainian people, their leadership and their president have shown the world what it is to lead from the front. The spirit, resolve, strength, fierce defiance, and patriotism of the Ukrainian people are to be celebrated. And whereas the city of Santa Rosa recognizes the horrors and the humanitarian crisis that this war has brought upon the Ukrainian people, including those in the city of Cherkasy. Now therefore be resolved that Chris Rogers, Mayor of the City of Santa Rosa, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby condemn the violation of Ukrainian sovereign nation borders, independence, and territorial integrity, and oppose the unnecessary and tragic loss of life this unprovoked armed conflict has caused, and affirm our support for our sister city, Cherkasy, Ukraine, and the sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of Ukraine, signed by Mayor Chris Rogers on this date.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. So we will be sending that, obviously, to the mayor of Cherkasy. We'll hear some comments here as well from folks who have been in contact over the course of the last couple of years with them. And then the city manager and I had a discussion earlier. Tonight, the square will have blue and yellow lights in honor of the proclamation and sending our love and support to our sister city. With that, I will start with public comment and then bring it back for council member comments, should anybody want to make any.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fred Patucha. I'm the president and co-founder of Sister City Santa Rosa Cherkasy. When we first started, we were actually a different name, Sister Cities USSR, because the Soviet Union still existed back in 1989. Since the founding of ours, we have had over 400 Americans have visited Cherkasy, which is a city of about 300,000 people, 100 miles south of Kyiv, and about 300 Ukrainians have come here, some as students to go even to the JC, and others to have short-term stays at various high schools in our community. Perhaps one of the more amazing statistics of our long-term relationship of over 30 years is we have had 25 marriages between Americans and Ukrainians since the program started, or almost one a year. I would say this gives tangible reality to the phrase, make love, not war. Getting back to what's going on right now, I have a cousin, Lydia, who fled our sister city with her 6-year-old son. I got word yesterday she has now arrived safely in Berlin. Well, we have a family friend where she will be staying. Her older brother, with a wife and 2 children, was given a choice. He could stay behind to fight the encroaching Russians, or he had to safeguard his wife and 2 children. That was a tough one, but he made it, at least in the short run. They're staying in a small village in the Carpathian Mountains, close to the border with Poland. Luda Melnik, who is my counterpart on the Ukrainian side of a series of adventures called Climbers for Peace, in which we climbed iconic mountains around the world, including Elbrus in southern Russia, the peak in Alpetri in Crimea, which was Ukraine, now is claimed by Russia, by Russia, and also Horvala in the Carpathians Mountain, which is the highest peak in Ukraine. Many of these adventures were along with Russians along, so it was fine. They are like brothers and sisters. It's a historically very close relationship. So one thing you have is a little bit like a civil war with Russians shooting at Ukrainians. It's like what happened in our own civil war. And there are many intermarriages between Russians and Ukrainians, and I can think offhand at least half a dozen couples that I know where either the husband or wife is Russian, the other's Ukrainian. So this is a really great tragedy, playing out. I just hope and pray that this, I think everybody called Putin stupid, but he's acting in a stupid manner in this unprovoked invasion of Ukraine. So I thank the mayor and the council for your support, especially also we have a sister Rotary Club relationship between the Santa Rosa East-West Rotary, and we raised over $2,000 just today at luncheon to be able to send supplies, or at least send money to our sister club, Cherkasy, Ukraine. So on many different levels, we are reaching out one community to another at a time of great tragedy. And again, I thank the mayor and the council for a very articulate and I would say emotional proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for being here. Mr. Dwayne DeWitt.
Hello, my name is Dwayne DeWitt, and in the past I was a former president of Santa Rosa Sister Cities also, and I've brought a newspaper with me today from back during that time. This was printed in April of 1999, and we had the YWCA director, Miss Lisa Carreno, come with us to Cherkasy, as well as the then police chief, Michael Dunbar. It was a very good visit. There was a lot of good things discussed, and we've had many Cherkasy youth come to Santa Rosa over the years. It's really important, I think, that here we realize one thing about this relationship of our country helping these Ukrainians. We've been an example to them of the opportunity to express ourselves in a bit of freedom and liberty. We participate in a form of democratic republic that's something that they had longed for when they got independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. There had been a terrible tragedy before World War II, which the Ukrainians call the Holodomor, and that's where millions of Ukrainians starved to death during an enforced famine by the dictator Joseph Stalin. Many folks do not realize that perhaps the current leader of Russia is enacting his own form of dictatorship. So I've brought this paper today to submit to you so you'll have it to look at. It has a picture of the ambassador of the United States to Ukraine at that time, and he was from Sebastopol. His name is Stephen Pfeiffer. He's down at Stanford University right now, and I think it would be a good thing for some of you folks to perhaps talk with him about this situation. I'm going to read one quote from this paper from 1999. Addressing the current state of affairs in Ukraine, she said, "They are all experiencing economic difficulties and problems, but they would rather have freedom than go back to the old regime." So I'm hoping that we'll stay strong in our sister city relationship with them, that will help to fund and support the Women's Center that the city of Santa Rosa has been supportive of in the past. That's called the Santa Rosa Sister City Women's Action Project, and we've helped there for decades on dealing with women's issues, domestic violence, and basic social equity issues. So I know you sometimes see me here more than you might want, and you think, why does that guy do that? It's about freedom. Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments in the chamber? All right, let's look to Zoom.
There are no raised hands on Zoom, and we have no voicemail public comment on this item.
Okay, I'll go ahead and bring it back. Are there any other additional council comments? Councilmember Rogers?
I just wanted to thank Congressman Mike Thompson's office, specifically Brendan Sweeney, for taking concerns that I received from residents here in Santa Rosa that have family members, friends that are there in dire need of trying to protect themselves and escape from the violence, and assisting. I've never seen our government move in that way. I've never been in a position of leadership like that, but just to see how swiftly that we do move and how we are able to provide a helping hand to people that are in need. It was very quick, and I did get a follow-up text message that the families and the orphanage that we were trying to protect, that the children did make it over the border and they made it over safely. So that did really mean a lot to me, and it really meant a lot that the people that we have in leadership, that they were just able to act so swiftly and to get that done. So I did want to say thank you to them, and also to our mayor, Chris Rogers, and our city manager Smith. Thank you for taking this so serious. I know it's not on our soil, and I know that we go on in our everyday lives, but just because we're able to go to work and go to sleep and not hear the bombs and be safe doesn't mean that everyone around the world is safe. So the fact that we're able to take it serious and take a stand, I think really means a lot to a lot of people. And people do have families and people that they love all over the world. And so just because it's not here doesn't mean we don't need to take it serious and we don't need to take a stand. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Any other comments, Council? And I do also want to thank the Mayor of Sebastopol, Patrick Slater. Sonoma County is actually the only place in the world that has 3 of its cities as sister cities with Ukraine. So Sebastopol has a sister city relationship, as does the city of Sonoma. And so I got a call from the mayor of Sebastopol over the weekend asking that we all do this in solidarity. And I'll note that other mayors have also jumped in to show their support as well. Healdsburg passed their resolution last night. They lit up their bridge in solidarity, and so it's great for us to be able to do it as a unified front because it is a broader impact than just on the folks within our community, obviously. So thank you so much, Council, for this one. Madam City Manager, if we could go on to our staff briefings.
Thank you, Mayor Rogers and members of council. And I would also like to thank our clerk, Stephanie Williams, for helping move this forward as well. So item 7.1, COVID-19 response update. With the declining case rates and hospitalizations, California, Oregon, and Washington jointly updated their masking guidance. In California, starting today, March the 1st, masks will no longer be required for unvaccinated individuals, but masking is still strongly recommended for all individuals in most indoor settings. After March the 11th, in schools and child care facilities, masks will not be required, but strongly recommended. Masks will be required for everyone in high transmission settings like public transit, emergency shelters, healthcare settings, correctional facilities, homeless shelters, and long-term care facilities. Local jurisdictions still may have additional requirements beyond the state guidance, and more information about local response to COVID-19 is available at socoemergency.org. Thank you. Item 7.2, Community Empowerment Plan Update. I would like to introduce Deputy Director Tellis, who will give the report. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor Rogers, Vice Mayor Alvarez. Magalite is here, Director of Community Engagement, with an update on the Community Empowerment Plan. So the Mary Lou Lowrider Patrol Car, the car is complete. So please join us for the big reveal on Saturday, March 26th from 4 to 8 p.m. at City Hall parking lot. There will be a lowrider car show, a pomo blessing, live entertainment, and more. The ceremony will include speakers from the Sonoma County Lowrider Council who will talk about what this project means to them, as well as local and state officials. There will also be an opportunity for photos with the Mary Lou, and this another opportunity for city departments to table and for our community to get more information about from the various departments that make up the city. The Multicultural Roots Project, March is Women's History Month. Our team will highlight 5 amazing women throughout March in honor of Women's History Month. And again, we really want to thank the following people and their families: Anne Gray Bird, Charlie Toledo, Bernice Espinosa, Rima Markarian, and the Monarch Project, as well as Grace Chung Schulman. Thank you so much. Our team's also hard at work at putting together a multicultural roots project display for the Mary Lou Lowrider Patrol Car event. And the booth will include an overview of the project along with highlights thus far, and also will be an opportunity for community members to share their own stories of lowriding and healing and what the project means to them. For the Choice Grant Program, the partnership received 17 applications for our Cycle 11 grant. And the grant review team has been selected, and we'll have more information to follow in June about the nonprofit agencies and organizations that the grant review team selected. We want to launch our school outreach pilot program in collaboration between the Office of Community Engagement and Violence Prevention Partnership. Our team is launching the school outreach pilot program, and the pilot program has 4 goals. The first is to mitigate youth's involvement in unhealthy behaviors, develop youth's emotional vocabulary and conflict resolution skills, expose youth to positive extracurricular activities, also known as pro-social activities, raise awareness of the Violence Prevention Partnership resources and direct services. This program was born out of the uptick in school violence that our local schools have and are experiencing. Many of the root factors associated with issues which are social, emotional, and financial issues created or exacerbated by the pandemic. We'll be implementing the pilot program at 2 schools, a high school and a middle school, and the pilot program will include working with each school's restorative specialist, conducting weekly life skill sessions with participating youth, linking youth and families with our Choice Grant partners for additional support and services. And those services, the gamut is pretty wide. So, and there will be opportunities for pro-social activities outside of school. And these have been, we've seen these called out a number of times via our conversations, not only with community, but with the Violence Prevention Partnership partners as well. So staff will evaluate the pilot program using a pre and post assessment survey with the youth. So more to come on that, and that is the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director. Do we have any questions from Council? Councilmember McDonald?
Hi, I just want to make sure I heard you okay. Was it March 26th? Is that the day of the event that you're having, and the time for that and location?
Yes, thank you. And it is March 26th from 4 to 8 p.m. It will take place at the City Hall parking lot, so it will be outdoors. We will continue all COVID safety protocols.
Any other questions? Thank you so much, Director. We really appreciate all the work, and I'm looking forward to being out there for the launch. Let's go on to 7.2. Give me 1 second. We'll go to public comment on our staff reports for tonight. If you do have a comment on items 7.1 or 7.2, go ahead and hit the raise hand feature on your Zoom, or if you're in the chambers and like to come up to the podium, go ahead and queue up. I see no hands and I see no one in the public. Did we have any voicemails?
There are no voicemail public comments.
Excellent. We'll move on then to item number 8. Start with our city manager report.
I have no report this evening.
Okay. And our city attorney report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we're going to give a report on the Charter Review Committee. The Charter Review Committee has been continuing to meet and doing its work. And we have the chair of the committee, Patty Cisco, here to give the update. Thank you. Thanks, Patty.
Great. Thank you. Hopefully you can all hear me. Patty Cisco, chair of the Charter Review Committee, here tonight to give you our second update of our progress on the charter review. You may look in the chambers and see Vice Chair Ernesto Oliveras there, who said he might be stopping by to give some visual support for our report tonight. Since the last report, we had our second meeting looking at the issue of the directly elected mayor. I believe at the last report, I told you that the initial reaction was tepid, to say the least. At our second meeting, we had the benefit of two mayors who are directly elected mayors, Mayor Teresa Barrett of Petaluma and Mayor Kate Cohen of San Rafael. Gave us wonderful presentations about how the directly elected mayor is working in their cities and the positives of having a directly elected mayor. Following those presentations, the committee took up the discussion and robust discussion, and we took a straw poll to see where the committee stood. It was a very, very close vote. And because it was so close, we decided that it was more fair to not make a recommendation one way or the other, but to give you the benefit of a full report as to our thinking, the presentations, et cetera, as opposed to trying to write up ballot language at this point or making a strong recommendation one way or the other. So we're going to put that in your capable hands when we finally hand over our report at sometime in May. Our last meeting, we took up the issue of ranked choice voting. For that meeting, we had the benefit of Diva Proto from the Registrar of Voters Office. Following her presentation and following Sue Gallagher's presentation, the committee's discussion resulted in a majority decision to not recommend placing ranked choice voting on the ballot. We keep at the forefront of our discussion what problem are we trying to solve, and the committee in a majority way felt that the cost of implementing and continued administration of ranked choice voting was very high, and the research provided by staff showed very little benefit or change in the ultimate result of elections that were utilizing ranked choice voting. We do meet tomorrow. Our meeting at that time is going to involve prioritizing the remaining items on the list that you provided. I believe I told you we separated out initially and prioritized those things that could only be amended by charter, those being the directly elected mayor, ranked choice voting, and council compensation. And now we have the remaining 9 to look at. And we want, because we have just a short amount of time, we want to prioritize what of those 9 should be looked at. We've also, in terms of our meetings, have had a couple of more items added to that list that the committee is interested in taking up. One being looking at council vacancy appointments, given the bit of the awkwardness of the last council vacancy appointment process. And also a suggestion to take a look at non-citizen voting. Those 2 proposals came from committee members, and we did get a proposal to look at, from one member of the public, lowering the required signatures for referendums. We do have a letter from the public also urging the committee to take up the police auditor oversight to be included in the charter. So that's in support of something that is part of our prioritization list. Our process of doing that, Sue and Rob have put together little just sort of descriptions of each of those items, where some of them have been dealt with by ordinance, which does not mean that we can't recommend that they be dealt also with in the charter. But we wanted to give the committee the full benefit of, these are the items, this is what has or has not already been done by ordinance in the city, or other types of plans, types of things. And so adding to the list those 3 items that I just described, and then giving the opportunity for each committee member to give their top 3. so that we come up hopefully with a consensus as to top two to take a look at. Again, our commitment to you is to take up everything that you gave us in some form or another. And I think this method, we will have at least gotten a description in front of the committee. Anything that we don't recommend or don't do the deep dive on, we should be able to hand back to you in sort of a parking lot format as to what you may or may want to do with that in the future. Following that prioritization tomorrow night, we're going to be beginning to look at ballot language for the measure or measures that will make modifications to the charter to remove unnecessary references like to the school board and to bring into alignment our switch from at-large elections to district elections. We had been referring to those as omnibus measures. We're not going to call it that any longer. So it's going to be charter amendment measures that modify existing language, different from these more major charter amendment potentials. We may be looking at the 2-year budget cycle, other things that staffs, departments may want us to take a look at to include or change in the charter. And we will be looking at a modification that allows at your will to take a look at reviewing the charter more frequently than the 10-year cycle. So what we were seeing is that it may be that at some point you would want to take up district elections, or you might want to take up ranked choice voting, and you wouldn't be, your hands would not be tied by language that exists in the charter that says that can only be done on a 10-year cycle. So looking at those kinds of things for general ballot language to modify those items. We need to finish up the council compensation discussion. One of our next meetings, we should be getting to take a look at that, of a variety of options for ballot language for council compensation and finalizing that language. And then hopefully by that time, we will staff will have had the opportunity to do some research and review to begin to give presentations on the other priorities that the committee chooses to look at. Again, our timeline is to be able to deliver a complete report to you in early May so that you can go about doing the work that you need to do with those recommendations or report. So with that, if you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. We'll see if there are any questions from council members. Councilmember Fleming.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate all the work that you and your colleagues are doing. I'm just curious to know how the standard for determining whether to move forward on something became that you were looking for a problem that it was solving rather than some other standard like, you know, general improvement or the value that we'd get for the effort.
I think it's not the only thing that we're looking at. It's one of the lenses that we've been looking at throughout this process. Similar to, you know, we're also looking through the lens of equity principles. That is a standing item. So it's just, I think it's a question in the back of everyone's mind. Is there a problem? Do we need to, you know, and I think it's all encompassing as to what you said. Is there something to be improved here? Is there something incomplete about how we want our charter to read?
It's very helpful. Yeah, I would just offer that sometimes there's a great opportunity for improvement that may not be directly tied to a problem, but it sounds like you're looking at it very holistically. Thank you.
Yeah,
once
I think
again.
that's what we're doing. Yeah, thank you.
Councilmember McDonald.
I just have a question for clarification in the charter, and maybe this is currently in there and Sue might be able to help me with this, but as far as if we needed to amend the charter, can you do it by like 2/3 vote of this council to bring it back for consideration? Is it something like a bylaws amendment of a nonprofit, or it's only every 10 years they're able to bring those back for consideration?
Thank you for that question. The charter actually, in my view, is a little bit ambiguous. And so the proposal is, in this general amendment, is to clarify that, yes, there will be a review every 10 years, or the committee may decide that should be a shorter time period or a longer period. But there will be that comprehensive review, at least periodically. But that will also clarify that at any time, a ballot measure could be put before the voters to make a charter amendment at any time if it becomes necessary or appropriate, and that those ballot measures for a charter amendment could be done by initiative, citizen initiative, or by ordinance adopted by the council. So 2 avenues to get there. But again, at this point, there is not that separate provision for, hey, you can amend the charter at other times if if a need arises. But that's what we want to clarify.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your leadership on this, Madam Chair. We'll go to public comment on the update, particularly on our charter review update. I'm looking to see if the Vice Chair has anything that he wanted to add, since he did grace us with his presence today. No? All right.
No, sir. Thank you.
Let's go to Mr. DeWitt.
Hello, Dwayne DeWitt from Roseland. I wanted to thank Ms. Cisco and the city attorney for the comments they've just made, and Ms. Fleming for the questions that she just asked, Ms. McDonald also. These are very important things. One of the most important things to remember is that a charter review should try to have these equity principles that you mentioned. Social equity should be ingrained in this, but it's not. This process so far has been exclusionary because it's been Zoomed. This whole thing has basically been under COVID, and it's only today where you can stand up here and speak without a mask, that people can come in here and be a part of what's going on. So I'm asking that tomorrow's charter review meeting be held in a city facility where the people can come to the meeting and participate without having to Zoom, because they're actually Zoomed out. A lot of folks that would like to participate, they have questions. They want to make sure that equity principles help us to get a popularly elected mayor. This has come up before because essentially the mayor on a 2-year cycle is picked by associates, typically people that they knew from the Chamber of Commerce, from the labor unions that they might have worked with, things like that, having the support to get them into that position, rather than the people choosing who their leader is. This is very important. I came down here in the past and I spoke about the idea of term limits, and that wasn't mentioned by Chair Cisco. A 1-year budget review, that is imperative that we keep that. If we go out to 2 years, we're going to lose the oversight that the public might have had. We've already done that in the last few years by changing the amounts of money that require a report or require competitive bidding. It used to be much lower, and now you've bounced it way up into the millions. So vacancies and non-citizen voting and council compensation, that's stuff that's been generated perhaps by the folks on the council more than the community. There should perhaps be publication, put things out into the newspapers, letting the public know that this is happening now, and if they want to get their word in, they should do these letters, because apparently that does get addressed. As Ms. Cisco mentioned, those things came up. One of the things that I think is really important was mentioned by the city attorney just now, the opportunities to amend the charter. This could be one of the most impactful changes if you put that in and allow the charter to be amended instead of having to wait 10 years down the road like we've done. I've been through 3 of this. This is the 3rd time I've watched this with any type of oversight, and I know it doesn't work well. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
I guess I shouldn't pass up the opportunity to speak to you since I'm here in the chamber, but Chair Cisco gave you a very concise report and update on what's going on with the charter review. But what I want to do is I want to thank you for the thought that went into appointing the Charter Review Committee. From my perspective, it's a very diverse committee, and I also want to thank the city for providing us some of the resources like Socorro Shields, who came in to talk to us and guide us through some of the equity principles that we need to consider. But it's also interesting that, as Mr. DeWitt mentioned, that traditionally we tend to see some of the same faces on charter reviews, meaning those that are very familiar with local government. This is different. This is different in that we have some that have not been engaged, and I think what that brings to the committee is a different thought where people don't make assumptions about what may or may not be appropriate to bring up to the committee, but they're open to provide those new views and input as well. So I just want to acknowledge that, because from young to more senior folks like myself, I mean, it's a very, very diverse group, and I just want to thank you for the effort that you put into bringing this group together, so thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and bring it back, and I do want to echo my thanks. I've watched a number of the charter review meetings that have happened, and I've been very pleasantly surprised and impressed with the level of discourse that's happened amongst folks. And as the former mayor said, not just people who have traditionally been involved in the city, but we have high school students, we have folks who've never served on boards or commissions that are asking questions about how does the city operate and how can we make it better. And it's been really a lot of fun to watch. Council, any additional comments? Okay, let's move on to our next item. Any statements of abstention from council members tonight? And thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be abstaining from item 12.7. It is cannabis-related issue, and I am in the cannabis industry.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other statements from council members? Statements of abstention? Great. We'll go on to our mayor's and council member reports. Who wants to start? Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you once again, Mayor. This morning we sat with the downtown subcommittee where we discussed a lot of partying that is being planned. So I'm hoping that people are getting ready to come out and join their community. We were informed that 4 of the general parking spaces, which served as a electric vehicle charging station, will be converted to a charging station only. We were also made aware of the reduction fees that have been occurring since July 2020 through December 2021. And I want to inform the community of the amount of free parking spaces and parking garages that are available to them when they do come visit downtown. For example, we do have free parking at 1st, 3rd, and 7th Street garages on the weekends. Free garage parking 5 to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday in the garages. Free Saturday parking at 5th and D Street garages. Free for our first hour is free at our 3rd, 5th, and D Street garages. And we were also informed that in the actual free reduction between July 2020 to December 2021 is $842,000, with the projected fee reduction of the first half of 2022 to be $370,000. And I also want to thank you, Mayor, for being there present this morning. And with that being said, we also approved the deterrents that will be placed on our public furniture, so to speak, to deter skateboarders and type of vandalism. And it's actually quite a unique design. There are oak leaves with acorns that you will hopefully be seeing soon there in the downtown courthouse square. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Any other report? Councilmember Fleming?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. I'm pleased to report that last Wednesday, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission met and prioritized funding for the Salesforce Transit Building, which would be in downtown San Francisco. And many may wonder why this is important to us here in Santa Rosa, but it will end up connecting to Caltrans and BART and riders from Golden Gate Bridge District, and it will move tens of thousands of people around the Bay Area more equitably and reduce carbon emissions, and is really an exciting project, and I look forward to bringing you more updates as it moves through the funding process. Additionally, on Friday, the Red Housing Fund met for the first time, and we were pleased to, and it's difficult when you're oversubscribed, but we are oversubscribed. There are more builders who want to build affordable and market rate housing in downtown Santa Rosa and our nearby neighborhoods, and you will see shovels in the ground in the next few years, if not sooner. It is really, really exciting. No decisions were made, but there will be more information forthcoming.
Councilmember Rogers.
I just wanted to point out that we were able to, I was able to participate in the point in time count. I believe that is the correct name for it. So I wanted to thank Council Member Schwedhelm for pointing that out to the council. And although I know we're always invited, giving us another invitation to do so, because it was a very awesome experience and it was my first time doing it, but I can guarantee you that it will not be my last. So thank you for getting me out there at 5 a.m. It was an enjoyable experience, and I hope to be out there again next year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Schwedhelm.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just wanted to also reflect on the point in time count. This year was different. It's usually the last Friday in January, but due to COVID and some other issues, it got moved to last Friday. And what was also interesting is, how quickly we've come with the new technology. So the county and the continuum of care identified this new app, which I think hopefully will lead to some increased accuracies. Going from the last previous years that I've done it, where it's literally a clipboard and pencil checking boxes writing in, we're now having it all electronic. The downside too, it was kind of a sense of community with all the hundreds of volunteers that participated. Typically would meet at the Family Support Center over there on 7th Street, have a nice, gathering, break up the teams. So this one you started off on your own, but thank both you and Mayor Rogers for participating. It is early, but it is a very valuable data point for our community moving forward. So thank you for your participation.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. And I was going to report out on that as well and just mention that it is a good opportunity for folks to get out there and see how we can collect data and how we can use that data to better move our policies forward, our funding forward. And so I do want to thank Councilmember Schwedhelm for his continued leadership on that issue and for helping to organize council members to get out there and to participate. We are curious to see what the numbers will look like this year, partially because of a change in methodology, partially because of all of the efforts that we've put in. But we were in the downtown core, and I will say it was much better than I've seen it in a long time. And I know that we had a lot of folks that were also over at the warming center, but those numbers in that district as well were also down from what they've been previously. So I am excited to see sort of what the results are as we move forward. I wanted to make a couple of appointment announcements. We had left a couple of positions open and had put some folks in temporary positions while we were seeking our new council member. So I do want to make sure that we get Councilmember McDonald putting in as many hours as we can possibly get out of her here as our fill-in Jack Tibbetts and taking over for that district. So I will be appointing Councilmember McDonald to the open BPU liaison position. Councilmember McDonald will be replacing me on the Open Government Committee. Councilmember McDonald will be replacing the Vice Mayor on the Climate Action Committee, and then will also serve as the alternate for the Health Action Board, as well as the alternate for the Library Advisory Board. The only other opening that we had was for downtown. As you heard from the Vice Mayor, I joined that this morning. I will be appointing myself to be the third member of the Downtown Committee, but the Vice Mayor will continue to lead that committee as the chair. Let's go ahead and go to and I will make one more announcement. Received word from staff that they are in the process of changing, finalizing, updating our Parklit program. So we actually are going to pull item 14.2 for today. We're going to hold that item for future work from our staff and bring that forward with more public input, looking like in middle of April. And I'll make that announcement again when we get a little bit closer to that item. So 14.2 will not be heard tonight. It will be heard in April. With that, let's go to public comment for our staff, or excuse me, our council member reports. Anybody in the chamber like to provide comment? I see no hands on Zoom. Did we have any voicemails?
No voicemail public comment.
Okay. We'll keep moving then. Let's go on. We have no minutes for approval tonight. Madam City Manager, could you please introduce the consent calendar?
Consent item number 12.1 is a resolution authorization for request of low carbon transit operations program funding for fiscal year 21 and 22. Item 12.2 is a resolution approval of a purchase order for 2 VATCON combination sewer and storm drain cleaners and 1 VATCON hydro excavator to VATCON Inc., Green Cove Springs, Florida, California, under Sourcewell Cooperative Agreement number 101221 VAC. Item 12.3 is a resolution approval of purchase order under the Houston-Galveston Area Council Cooperative Agreement RA 0521 to Motorola Solutions Incorporated to replace and modernize existing transit radios. Item 12.4 is a resolution waiver of competitive bid award FTS Forest Technology Systems Ltd. Remote automatic weather stations. Item 12.5 is a resolution making required monthly findings and authorizing the continued use of teleconferencing for public meetings of the City Council and all city boards, commissions, and committees pursuant to Assembly Bill 361. Item 12.6 is a resolution rescinding resolution number Res 2021-200 and adopting a revised resolution authorizing the submittal of an application requesting an amount not to exceed $13.29 million to the State of California Department of Housing and Community Development's Home Key Grant Program for the city to be a co-applicant on St. Vincent de Paul Commons and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute the application and the home key documents. Item 12.7 is a resolution, cannabis equity grant acceptance and authorization. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with questions from city council members. Are there any questions on the consent calendar for tonight? Seeing none, we'll go to public comment. Dwayne, you look like you're ready.
Yes, sir. Dwayne DeWitt from Roseland. I wanted to thank you for this new process of this teleconferencing in the sense that it makes it available to people who cannot come to City Hall. By the same token, I ask that you keep this available all the way through to the future. It's part of your open government approach. And also publicize better that now these chambers are open, that now that the mask mandates are falling by the wayside, we could be having meetings where people can come to our government facilities again. After 2 years, it's time. You can open these things up. If they can hold Super Bowls with 50, 60,000 people together, you can have meetings with us sitting 6, 8, 10 feet apart, whatever you might want to choose. It is the kind of thing that's going to make us more collaborative, I believe. People will feel like we're back with our government, and that's a positive. Then, regarding the approach that gets taken on this resolution for the St. Vincent de Paul Commons, that's a wonderful thing that's going forward in many ways, but a lot of folks don't know anything about this type of a project and how it's going to be a positive thing for our community. They just see St. Vincent de Paul over there near the tracks, and they just see folks hanging out front, and they get an image that sticks with them, thinking that it's only for the downtrodden and it's not helpful. This is a helpful resolution, I believe, and this is a good thing, but it's not well publicized. So the people in the community don't understand that you're not giving something for nothing to these people. I've actually heard so many comments recently, especially about the homeless count, like, why are we bending over backwards to help people who won't help themselves? I don't believe that. I know that you need to help these folks, and I know that there's a need even greater. You probably didn't get a count of a lot of folks that were out there. I will bring that up during public comment. But I just wanted to once again say, please publicize that you've opened up City Hall to vaccinated people and get it out there in the newspapers. A lot of us older folks aren't tuned in like the smartphone generation. We still read newspapers. And a lot of us don't even have computers at home. I have to do my stuff at the library. And when the library's closed, we can't be at the public meetings that you folks hold early in the morning, like the downtown subcommittee, things like that. The library's not open yet. So thanks for listening to the older folks a little bit. All the best to you.
All right, let's see if there's any other public comments. Seeing none, I'll bring it back. Mr. Vice Mayor, do you want to put a motion on the table?
I would, and thank you, Mayor. I move items 12.1 through 12.6 with the exception of item 12.7 as requested by myself, Vice Mayor Alvarez, and waive further reading of the text.
Second.
We have a motion from the Vice Mayor and a second from Councilmember Sawyer. Any additional comments? All right, let's call the vote.
Councilmember Schwedhelm?
Aye.
Councilmember Sawyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Alvarez?
Aye.
Mayor Rogers?
Aye.
That motion passes with 7 ayes.
All right, I'll entertain a motion on item 12.7.
So moved. Second.
A motion from Councilmember Sawyer and a second from Councilmember McDonald. Let's call the vote.
Councilmember Schwedhelm?
Aye.
Councilmember Sawyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming?
Aye.
Mayor Rogers?
Aye.
That motion passes with 6 ayes, with Vice Mayor Alvarez abstaining.
All right, and then Council, we're 3 minutes away from our public comment for non-agenda items. We can't begin that until 5. We also have a public hearing set for 5 o'clock. I don't want to be disingenuous and just move on to the next item and have them come late. So we're going to take just a quick 2-minute recess here until 5 o'clock, come back, do public comment for non-agenda items, then do our public hearing and go through the rest of our meeting agenda. So we'll be right back.
Madam, able to do anything? She said, I was down there and I was suffering from not having any charging cords. And I said, I just need this. No, you just have to ask.
Oh,
I don't know who does it.
I will let Brian know.
Yeah. I'm not
Okay,
sure who
so
does
there's
it, but
none where you're sitting
there's
now?
none.
Chamber, your mic is on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. That was a long 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and call the roll and reestablish our quorum.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Schwedhelm.
Here.
Councilmember Sawyer.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Present.
Mayor Rogers.
Here.
Let the record show that all council members are present.
Great. Let's go on to our public comment for non-agenda items. We have 3 minutes for folks if it's within the jurisdiction of the city of Santa Rosa. We can't get into a back and forth, but what we can do is take down some notes and ask the appropriate staff to get back to you. So if you want to provide comment, go ahead and make your way towards the podium.
Testing, is that on?
Yeah, make sure you get really close to that microphone so we can hear you.
Sorry. I would like to thank the Santa Rosa Council for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Jose Arturo Ibarra, and I live in Woodside Hills community located in District 4 of Santa Rosa. On behalf of my community, I would like to also thank Victoria Fleming, Jesse Oswell, Andrew Triple, Sherry Meads for their communications with us regarding short-term rentals. Our community's HOA CC&Rs strictly prohibit short-term rentals, yet we currently have 2 homeowners who are conducting short-term rentals and who are now seeking short-term rental permits. We are not asking our City Council to enforce our HOA CC&Rs. We are asking our City Council to honor and respect what has been established for many, many years in our community and that of many other HOAs in our city of Santa Rosa. Our current emergency short-term rental ordinance lacks such honor and respect. A simple sentence requesting HOA approval incorporated into the permanent short-term rental ordinance indeed will honor and respect our long-standing covenants officially recorded by the City of Santa Rosa and Sonoma County. In accordance with our discussions with city representatives regarding the current emergency short-term rental ordinance, over 3 months ago, we submitted many violations from both of the short-term rental properties in our community, and none of them to date have been addressed by code enforcement. We were told via email on February 24, 2022, just 2 business days ago, that the Assistant Chief Building official in charge of code enforcement has resigned, and the Code Enforcement Department has had a large staff turnover. So I ask you, how are we to proceed when the emergency ordinance is apparently not being enforced? The ordinance does not honor and respect our Santa Rosa citizens, our Santa Rosa Police Department, our Santa Rosa Fire Department, and our Santa Rosa city workers. Additionally, Santa Rosa is experiencing a severe and ongoing housing crisis that has been worsened by the wildfire disasters that have repeated since 2017. The conversion of housing units to short-term rentals reduces the supply of housing available to serve long-term residents and increase housing costs for both renters and buyers. There are approximately 400 short-term rental operating within the Santa Rosa city limits, a number that will continue to grow unless a clear path is established to limit or eliminate short-term rental operations. We respectfully ask that our city officials here honor and respect our points and act on our behalf to protect the rights of property owners and affected by out-of-control short-term rentals and preserve our neighborhoods from corporations and out-of-town investors conducting a for-profit enterprise in residential neighborhoods and are turning our communities into hotel zones. We don't need hotels operating in residential neighborhoods.
All right, thank you so much. And like I mentioned, with public comment for non-agenda items, we can't get into a discussion tonight. It's a violation of the Brown Act, but you do have staff that's been taking notes and can circle back and help you and work with the issue. And that is an issue that'll come back before the council here not too long from now. Mr. DeWitt?
My name is Dwayne DeWitt. I'm from Roseland, and I wanted to say thank you to that gentleman for speaking about this topic tonight. That was a very important discussion that he just brought forward, and I hope it will be acted upon. I wanted to talk about the good work you folks did the other day with the count of the unsheltered people. On that morning, not going out as early as you folks, looking at the Roseland neighborhood, we don't want to go out there in the dark because people feel uncomfortable with strangers coming near their encampments. Their encampments are on city land that has a sign that says illegal to camp, and yet they've been there, some of them for over a year. It's a sad situation when anyone has to live outside. You might have seen the recent Press Democrat articles about a very large encampment upon a piece of private land next to Roseland Creek. It's sometimes euphemistically called the mud pit because of the big rains that happened in the past, and it never really cleared up. One of the dilemmas there is that people have been depending upon the city to solve it, and they might not be getting the best approach. Some years back over on Richmond Drive near the junior college, one homeowner was derelict in his neighborly duties, if you will. So the city worked with neighbors to file a complaint against that property owner for nuisance and for vicarious liability for the other property owners nearby being negatively affected. And a suit was able to go forward, and monetary damages were brought, and that property owner then made changes. Because the property owner at the mud pit is an affordable development housing developer out of Clovis, California, it would seem that you, as the city council, could work with your code enforcement people to get that same type of legal approach taken for this nuisance that's there. It's actually a public health problem too. It's polluting the creek. There's a lot of problems that were mentioned in those stories. So you don't have to take it from me. Go out there and walk. The Sonoma County Water Agency recently upgraded the pathways on Roseland Creek without paving them. Keep that in mind also. It's not asphalt or concrete, it's hard pack. And you can go by there and you can see the mud pit for yourselves. And last but not least, I want to thank you that you're trying to resolve these problems with the unsheltered. Think about seniors and veterans extended stay suites. That's a model that can work. Thank you for your help and your kindness.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. Do we have any other public comments for non-agenda items? See none on Zoom. Did we have any voicemails?
There are no voicemail public comments on this item.
Okay, let's go ahead and bring it back. We'll move on to item 15.1. That's our redistricting hearing. As for folks who are new, we do our public hearings as close to 5 o'clock as we can for maximum participation. We'll come back to some of our report items, our 14.1 and our 14.3. And again, we pulled item 14.2 for a pending date. But let's go on to item 15.1.
Item 15.1 is a public hearing, Redistricting of City Council Districts, Fair Maps Act. Fourth public hearing in a series of public forums. I would like to introduce City Clerk Stephanie Williams, who will give the report.
Thank you, Council. This is our fifth public hearing. We held a community outreach meeting on February 17th. For a demonstration for the public on how to use the District R tool and to submit any maps. We did get one map submitted that was included in your packet. However, the consultant who is to present, I don't see on the call unless they're on and can raise their hand to let me know. Otherwise, I can walk through the presentation as best I can. In their absence. If you want to go ahead and bring the presentation up, Sandy. Thank you. Next slide. So as you know, the California Fair Maps Act requires that a set of criteria must be followed when redistricting plans. Districts need to be relatively equal in size and must be continuous, and they must maintain communities of interest. Districts should follow city and census designated place boundaries, and should keep districts compact in appearance and functions. And by functions, that would be communities of interest, homeowners associations, things like that. Next slide. So from communities of interest to maps, with more cities and counties using community-based redistricting, we move redistricting out into the public with maps driven by community of interest testimony. So input from community drives the process with multiple ways for the public to engage. And by that, they can, in our case, they can provide a hard copy of a map submitted to the city clerk's office. They can go on the District R tool where it will be saved and uploaded. All of the maps are there for the public to see. And then the rules for process emphasize the importance of traditional criteria and minimize divisions of neighborhoods. And then we release the maps for feedback by the council, and so there will be maps presented today that may spark more public engagement. Next slide, please. So District R is our mapping tool, and as I mentioned before, we did hold a community outreach meeting. This date says February 24th, but it actually was on February 17th at the Finley Community Center at 6 p.m. We've received 8 districted maps from the public and have received 2 community of interest maps. And then just as a reminder, the City Council can uplift any map submitted by the public to be considered as an official draft map. So of the maps submitted, including the ones that were presented at the last meeting, any of those Council can uplift for consideration as an official draft map that can be adopted. Next slide, please. So this is one of the maps submitted. It was handwritten, and really there are no lines drawn, but it is saying that they prefer District 1 should be essentially the same. Next slide. So this map only outlined a couple of areas. The blue, this is a community of interest. The blue is the town and country area. The red and purple identified as the Roseland neighborhood. The teal color is identified as junior college neighborhood, and then the gold as the McDonald Historic District. Next slide. So this map submitted shows a population distribution. As you can see on the right there, the districts are pretty close in population, and this is map identified as 104953. There's no name associated with this, but this has been uploaded to District R for the public and council to see. Next slide, please. Another map submitted is Santa Rosa EMW design. Map 109846, and again, the districts are pretty equal, and you can see the various colors and how this map has been submitted. Next slide. This map 103881, titled SR7. Again, a different shading of maps and different district lines, as you can see from the various colors, and they are pretty close also. And it looks like most people who are submitting maps are getting the districts pretty close and are not breaking them up and keeping them pretty contiguous. Next slide. This map has some minor adjustments, so it looks like this may have been submitted earlier, but this is map 102252, and this just shows some minor adjustments to our current districting. Next slide. Map 101628, submitted by Chapman or Untitled Chapman. This shows districts a little differently. As you can see, and again, the district populations are pretty equal. And at the bottom, you can see, I just noticed this now, the deviation there on these maps is like, this one is 1.19%. Next slide. This map 105-507, titled Gigs Plan. This has, again, some districts are pretty equal with a deviation of 0.73%. Next map. And this map is 105-165. I'm titled Victoria Fleming, and this is just showing one district, and the deviation here is 4.3%, but there's unassigned population, as you can see, since this was only reflecting one district. Next slide. So map 114-211, again, is only showing one district, with a population of 25,537, and the deviation for this district is 0.14%. Next slide. And then we are just reviewing the 3 maps that were submitted. These were created by our consultant, Redistricting Partners. And we provided these again as draft maps and approved for release as draft maps to the public. And each plan has an overview, a data table, individual district pages, and web map that has been provided to the district and is available on the city's redistricting website. Next slide. So this is map A, I believe. And this is showing the existing lines. Next slide. And then this is showing the data for that map and the different deviations for each of the districts. And then the bottom portion of this is showing the citizen voting age population for each of the districts also, and number population. Next slide. So the total deviation of the plan is the sum of the absolute values of the highest and lowest district. And so here this plan deviation is 20.6%. And I'm not sure why that was highlighted, and I'm sorry. So map A was created based on minimal changes to the current district lines, and it was changed to decrease total deviation from the current population. Next slide. So this is map A. Next slide. And then draft map A with the existing district lines showing. So you can see where some of the districts cross over the current lines to adjust the population deviation. Next slide. That just highlights where it crosses over, bumps out. Next slide. And again, this is the census information for draft map A and the citizen voting age population for draft map A. So the total deviation for that is 3.7%. So draft map B uses major highways, streets, and neighborhoods to divide boundaries. And then with notable neighborhoods of D1 of Bennett Valley, South Park, D2, Junior College, Greater Cherry Street, Burbank Gardens, D3, Kenwood, D4, Reedley, Wallace, Cobblestone, Lomita Heights, D5, Lincoln Manor, Copperfield, West End, D6, Apple Valley, and D7, Roseland. Next slide. So this is a draft map B. Next slide. And then this is draft map B with the existing district lines showing so that you can see where the new draft map crosses over or the existing district lines. Next slide. And then this is the census and citizen voting age population information for draft map B with a total deviation of 5.5%. And then map C was based on a district R submission. Next slide. This is a draft map C. Next slide. And then this is the draft map with the existing district lines showing. And you can see where the changes are. Next slide. And again, this is the census and citizen voting age population for draft map C with a total deviation of 3.8%. Next slide. So what's next is the City Council can make use of these mapping options in a number of ways. Identify preferred plans with an understanding that none of these are final plans. It is an iterative process. You can suggest possible changes if there are a map that the council would like to see changes to, and adjustments can be made to any of the draft maps. And you can provide direction to staff for us to work with the consultants for the preparation of a new draft map to be put out for public input and future review and adoption. And consider new draft maps at a public hearing scheduled for the next regularly scheduled council meeting, which will be held on March 29th. Next slide. And that concludes the presentation as best as I can do in the absence of our consultant.
I appreciate that, Madam City Clerk. Do we still not have our consultant on Zoom? Should we take a 5-minute?
Yeah, if we could take a 5-minute break, let me reach out to them and see if they are, if I can get a hold of them.
Great, thank you. We'll take a 5-minute recess and we'll come back.
Paul Mitchell.
All right, and we're back. Madam City Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Schwedhelm.
Here.
Councilmember Sawyer.
Here.
Councilmember Rogers.
Present.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Vice Mayor Alvarez.
Present.
Mayor Rogers.
Here.
Let the record show that all council members are present.
All right, Council. So we're going to make this up a little bit as we go. So we still have not located our consultant yet. We do have somebody who will be joining us who will be able to answer questions and get us through the assignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually put item 15.1 on pause. We'll come back to it later in the meeting. And we're going to move on to item 14.1, which we do have our staff for and we can do our discussion and deliberations on. And we'll come back to 15.1 after this item, assuming that we have somebody who can answer our questions. No, we'll come back to item 15.1, Mr. DeWitt. Madam City Manager.
Item 14.1 is a report recommendation for consultant for Homeless Solutions Strategic Plan. I'd like to introduce Kelly Kuykendall, Housing and Community Services Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Smith. Good afternoon, Mayor Rogers and Vice Mayor Alvarez. The item before you this afternoon is a staff recommendation for consultants to help the city develop a homelessness solutions strategic plan. Next slide, please. This slide provides you an outline of my presentation. I'll cover the request for proposals or RFP, including the purpose and scope, the proposals received, and staff recommendation. Before I jump into that, I just want to say how excited I am to be presenting this or bringing this to you this afternoon. You all know that addressing homelessness in the community is a top council priority, and you have demonstrated that by increasing your investment in homeless services over the past several years. And you've done so to the best of your ability in alignment with Housing First and best practices. And the goal of the strategic plan is to guide the city's efforts to address homelessness in the community moving forward. Next slide, please. The purpose of the RFP was to seek a professional consultant to help the city prepare a 5-year homelessness solutions strategic plan and step-by-step action plan to address homelessness in the community and achieve functional zero homelessness in alignment with the Sonoma County Continuum of Care. I'll talk briefly about functional zero. This is an approach that acknowledges that we're not going to end homelessness, that people will continue to fall into homelessness, but we will try to make sure that that experience with homelessness is rare, brief, and non-recurring. So the ultimate goal is that if we have someone who becomes homeless, we're able to quickly shelter them and quickly house them, ideally within 30 days, quickly resolving their homelessness. Just to touch briefly on the intent of the strategic plan is to identify existing resources and gaps, develop clear and concise goals that are measurable and actionable, and implement strategies to effectively reduce homelessness in Santa Rosa. Next slide. This slide covers the scope of the RFP, and there are 3 phases. The first phase is to conduct an assessment of existing systems and stakeholders, and this will occur subject to your approval this afternoon, evening, between March and May. of 2022, so starting this month. And the first phase really is a needs assessment and involves stakeholder engagement, including with our continuum of care, as well as internal city meetings. And out of phase one, we'll have a work plan, a communication plan, and findings from the needs assessment. Phase two, this is drafting the plan itself, and that will occur between May and July. And phase three, this is the phase where we'll be finalizing the plan. That's to occur between July and August. And the goal is to bring this back to City Council for your review and hopefully adoption in August. Next slide. So the RFP was developed in consultation with the Council Housing and Homeless Ad Hoc. It was issued on December 7th, 2021. It was due on January 7th, 2022. And 6 proposals were received in response to the RFP. This was a great response. We were very excited about it. And the evaluation committee to review the proposals convened on January 26th, 2022. There were 9 members, and that included staff from the City Manager's Office, Housing and Community Services, Transportation, Public Works, and Human Resources, staff from the Sonoma County Community Development Commission, a subject matter expert from the private sector, a Continuum of Care COC board member, and Councilmember Schwethelm, who is also on the Continuum of Care. Next slide, please. So this slide is the criteria that was included with the RFP and used by the evaluation committee to score the proposals. I'm not going to go into each of these in detail. I will share with you that under experience, this did include a diversity, equity, and inclusion component. So we were looking for plans or proposals that demonstrated an experience addressing equity in alignment with this council priority. And under other, we were really looking for the quality and completeness of the proposals and any other factors that the evaluation committee deemed relevant related to the RFP itself. Next slide, please. So for scoring, as I mentioned, we received 6 proposals. The 6 agencies are listed here in the slide. The scoring was broken down into 3 tiers. The first tier is focus strategies and home base. They have direct experience and extensive experience developing strategic plans to reduce and end homelessness. The second tier was Third Plateau and LEAP Solutions. And the third tier was Public Works and Ernst & Young. Next slide, please. So following the evaluation committee and the scoring, the committee recommended that we interview the top 2 proposals. As you could see in the previous slide, the scores between focus strategies and home base were very close. So interviews were conducted on February 9th, and then following the interviews, the group recommended or selected focus strategies, and that is the consultant that staff is recommending this afternoon. I will say they were between focus strategies and home base, as you saw with the scores, and then following the interviews, they were both very close, and focus strategies just had slightly higher scoring in both the scoring and the interviews, and that's why they're being selected this afternoon or recommended this afternoon. I'll touch briefly on both of the consultants. So focus strategies and home base, as I mentioned, have extensive experience developing strategic plans. They both submitted quality proposals. They both have local experience. So home base is currently working with our continuum of care to develop a countywide strategic plan. And focus strategies has experience with our prior continuum of care board, Home Sonoma County, and is currently working with the county as a technical assistance provider with their Project Home Key applications. Both focus strategies and home base in the interviews raised that implementation is a key part of the process, that it has to be built into the strategic planning process. Otherwise, at the end of that process, you end up with just a plan on your shelf and nothing that can be implemented. So I'll bring it back to why we landed on focus strategies. Again, I want to tie it back to the scoring in the interviews. Focus strategies had just a slight edge above home base in both of those. I do want to highlight 3 things that stood out with focus strategies proposal as well as the interview. That includes their experience developing city-specific strategic plans within a county framework. They're currently doing similar work for the city of Antioch. They also demonstrated a depth of knowledge related to diversity, equity, and inclusion in their interview. And in the interview and also in their proposal, demonstrated experience developing detailed, in-depth, and individualized work related to strategic plans. Next slide, please. So Focus Strategies is based in Walnut, California. That's in Southern California. They have 15 years experience. As I mentioned, they have experience consulting and as a technical assistance firm, and extensive experience developing strategies as well as local experience. Next slide, please. So the professional services agreement, which is included in your packet, the budget for this project is $100,000. About $89,000 of that is for the project itself, so the strategic planning work. And then we've budgeted about $10,000 as a contingency for additional work at the request of the city should we need it. The initial timeframe in the RFP requested proposers or consultants to complete the work by June or July of this year. We realized that this was too ambitious if we want to do this right, if we want to have a comprehensive strategic planning process. So in the agreement, we have it set up for an initial 6-month period and an option to extend that for additional 6 months should we need it. Again, we don't want to rush. We want to be sure that we do a comprehensive process. Also aligning with the continuum of care and their strategic planning efforts, which are underway and are anticipated to be completed by December of this year. Next slide, please. With that, it is recommended by the City Manager's Office that the Council by resolution, 1, approve a professional services agreement with Focus Strategies in Walnut, California for the development of a homelessness solutions strategic plan in the amount of $100,000 for an initial 6-month period, March 1st, 2022 to August 31st, 2022, with an option to extend for an additional 6-month period, September 1, 2022 to February 28, 2023, and authorize the Chief Financial Officer to appropriate $100,000 for this purpose from Homeless Fund 1209 reserves. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. I know that Megan Kurtaf-Schatz, if I'm saying her name correctly, and Hannah Gossett with Focus Strategies are listening in and are prepared to speak during public comment. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelly. I'll look to council to see if there are any questions on the item. Councilmember Fleming.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Ms. Kuykendall. I do appreciate it, and that as well as to the selection committee for all of your work. I'm curious to know, with this organization that's been recommended, have they demonstrated that when their strategic plans are adopted and funded and executed, that there has been a reduction in the amount of people who are experiencing homelessness?
That is an excellent question, and I have done some research on their work and followed up with their references. I have not gone to that level of detail, and as I mentioned, Focus Strategies is listening in and prepared to speak during public comment, so I anticipate that they would be able to speak to that question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councilmember McDonald.
I just have one question. Since we did the count on Friday, I'm wondering when those numbers will be available, if this is something that would be beneficial for these partners to work with so that they have current numbers and current situation of our unhoused population.
Thank you for that question. Typically, we have the count results in the summer, usually around the June or July timeframe. So that data or that information falls within the scope of this RFP and within the scope of the strategic plan.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions from council members. Let's go to public comment, and we'll start on Zoom with Megan.
Great. Well, Good evening, Mayor Rogers and council members. Thank you so much, Kelly. This is Megan Curtiff-Schatz. I'm the president of Focus Strategies. And we are thrilled to have been selected to assist you in developing your homeless solutions strategic plan. We're hopeful that you'll approve that recommendation this evening. As Kelly mentioned, we are a nationally recognized technical assistance provider. We help communities across the country to reduce homelessness and advance permanent housing solutions. Our approach to planning is closely aligned with your goals and priorities, which is why we're particularly excited about the opportunity to develop your plan if approved. For example, in our work, we help communities lift up the voices of people with lived experience of homelessness and advance equity for people of color and other historically disenfranchised groups. Our work is most well known for being data-informed and holistic in nature. Our goal is to work alongside your staff, stakeholder, and community leadership to determine which actions will help you reduce homelessness the most with available resources. I want to take a moment to acknowledge Councilmember Fleming's question, which is an excellent question. We do have a very strong track record of helping communities to reduce homelessness. And I will say in recent years, some of what we're helping some communities do is reduce the number of additional new people becoming homeless and staying homeless for a long time. I think it's really important to acknowledge that being successful with planning work requires what Kelly mentioned in her remarks, which is excellence in implementation. A plan is only as good as the extent to which it is implemented, and we work very hard with the communities that we work with to advance implementation opportunities and lay the groundwork for implementation along the way. While we're doing the planning work. I would say the communities where we have done planning work, where we have been successful in working with the staff to lay the tracks for implementation are the places we have the strongest track record of having a meaningful impact on the numbers of people experiencing homelessness. When there isn't that capacity locally or the ability to implement the strategies identified in the planning process is when our firm, and I think all firms who do good work on this topic, really struggle to make an impact. I'm focusing my comments right now on that side of things because we are entirely mission driven, and all of our work is about helping communities advance. And we want to make sure that we are, if selected and approved, that we are able to help you move forward. And we hope to do so by really advancing that implementation work. Thank you very much. We really appreciate the opportunity and hope to be selected this evening. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Megan. We'll go to Saves.
Hi, this is Gregory Farron. I guess I need to change that back so it says Gregory instead of Saves, but I think I'm speaking for them. We look forward to working with Megan and Hannah, and we wanted just to make sure that another resource that she may or may not know about, I believe Kelly does, which is the Benioff study that was done a few months ago. The data for that, their interviews with an awful lot of homeless, I think would prove valuable in their research and in their work in the strategic plan. And I know that they'll probably be both aware of the strategic planning efforts by the COC, but I would hope that we could dovetail both strategic planning efforts and have them, at least learn from each other and perhaps share some of the process. In Sonoma County, as you know, Santa Rosa and Sonoma County are both going to be spending a heck of a lot of money making decisions about $4 million worth of ARPA money, which is definitely going to be aimed at homeless solutions. in the next 6 months. It's in our ARPA process. There may be even more money coming out of the $34 million that the county still has to allocate related to homelessness. And then, of course, as Tom knows and others, the COC has its own pots of money that are coming down the pike. HAPS 3 will have another $4.5 million for homeless programs. So with all of that on the line, I would just try to urge as much as possible either early indications of need and early strategic planning efforts to dovetail into decisions that the COC will be making. There's a new, as Tom knows, a new COC that will be elected tomorrow. And so the timing is perfect for having a strategic plan. And I thank the city for taking the initiative to be able to help put the city in part of the driving force for how homeless services are delivered. So I just wanted Megan and Hannah to know about they're not alone in the process of trying to come up with what we ought to do with what money is coming available. And I and SAVES and everybody else as stakeholders in the process will be working very closely with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gregory. I see no other hands nor anybody in the chambers moving for the podium. Did we have any voicemails?
There are no voicemail public comments on this item.
Okay. Councilmember Sawyer, you had a question?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. And maybe this, I'm not really sure who's around to answer this question. It may be Councilmember Schwedhelm. But was there anything that stood out in our community that was unique enough to mention or different than the other communities that the consultants dealt with that made us either more challenging or maybe the other way, opened up more doors of possibility for success? And I was thinking, I kind of forgot that Megan was on I only had 3 minutes, so I was kind of hoping that she'd be around to answer that question.
Kelly, do you want to answer that first and I can add anything? Because I know you talk with a couple of jurisdictions.
Yeah, I was trying to follow the question, Councilmember Sawyer, sorry. And are you trying to get more information about, from their references?
Was there anything that stood out of Santa Rosa's situation that was, that made our community either more challenging or maybe where we had more opportunities for success? Something that stood out that made us unique? Or not?
Well, I think so.
And may I just interrupt? Certainly, that's a very good question, and Kelly, I just wanted to caution to not reveal any references or what they specifically said. But in terms of if you are aware of differences between the communities, certainly can address that, and that's a very good question. So.
In terms of differences between communities of Santa Rosa and some of the other communities, there's nothing that stands out to me. Generally speaking, something I learned through the process is just that, there's a strong desire in our community. And there's a lot of, I think we're already aware of this, right? But this came as a learning through the process. There's a willingness to work on this issue, and there's a drive in Sonoma County and Santa Rosa to work on this issue and in a strategic way. And so I think that our community is ready for this. I think it's going to be really helpful for us to have a consultant to guide us through that community process.
That's good news. Thank you.
If that answers your question. It
does indeed, and I appreciate it. I didn't mean to blindside you. It was kind of a curiosity question in a way, but that was for the committee to listen to and decide on in their interviews and in the production of their recommendations. So I appreciate your answer. Thank you.
And if I can add, and I'll keep my eye on the city attorney if I venture too far. One of the unique or not so unique thing about this type of work is that I've heard from several consultants that, yeah, a lot of cities and counties don't get along. They don't really play well. And quite frankly, that's where we were a couple years ago. But due to the awesome job that Kelly did in the evaluation committee, we had someone from staff of the county. We had an elected official from another jurisdiction that's not in Santa Rosa. This is a regional issue. And I know both of, I think I could say this, they recognize that you guys are a little different because it appears that you're playing well in the sandbox. We're collaborating on this issue that affects us all. And that, although they weren't as specific as I was, each of the consultants, at least when we did the interviews, recognized that not all jurisdictions get along as well as they appear to be up here in Sonoma County.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments, council? All right, let's go ahead and put a motion on the table. I do believe that this is Councilmember Schwedhelm's. Eddie, Mr. Vice Mayor, go for it.
I appreciate it, Mayor. That's what I get for not being there in person, right? My question was more of a general one. On page 5 in the contract, additional services, I was wondering what typically falls under additional services, if you could give us a few examples.
Excellent question, Vice Mayor Alvarez. And I think, let me just look at, you're looking at page 5 of the contract?
That is correct. 9 additional services.
So it's, it's not specifically defined in the contract, and that's why we put in the contingency of that $10,000. I think as we move through this process, if we identify that there's additional work that's not identified in the scope, we want to provide ourselves some flexibility to engage, engage in that work. So I don't have that defined right now. And I think we're going to learn that as we move, through the process. If we stray too far from the initial scope or intent of the work, then staff would, bring that back to City Council for their input. And certainly if we went over the budget, which we don't plan on doing, we'd have to bring that back to Council.
Very well. Would the applicants happen to know from their experiences anything that they've run into in other cities that might have produced the need for additional services?
So, focus strategies would have to answer that. I'm not quite sure how we do that in this format. I would defer to the mayor or our clerk.
I was hoping that they were available,
that.
but if they're not available, I completely do understand.
I'm going to look to the city attorney. Is it okay if we allow the applicant to answer a couple of questions?
Yes, you may ask the applicant to answer those questions.
And I do see that Megan has a hand up on Zoom.
I wasn't quite sure what the right thing to do was, so I'm glad that worked out.
And Megan, could we refer back to the original question of examples that you might have experienced as needed in other cities that you work with?
Yes, I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So I think the question you're asking is, in other places, have we had a contingency fund, and if so, how was it used?
Yes, that'll be that.
Okay, Mr. Alvarez, Councilmember Alvarez is frozen. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
We can hear you for sure. But yeah, the vice mayor does appear a little frozen. So I think his question was, have you had a contingency fund in other jurisdictions, and what did you end up doing with the contingency fund, if anything? Yes, we have had some cities just have a policy that all of their contracts of certain kinds have a 10% or 20% contingency. So those are the instances we've most commonly had a contingency fund. I would say the most common use of the contingency fund, in my experience, is to begin implementation work, which I highly recommend if possible, which I didn't have enough time in the public comment period earlier to sort of finish the conversation the Councilmember Fleming brought up around, how do you know that your work is, that plans are implemented and actually reduces homelessness? And the answer to that really is dependent on the quality of implementation.
So I would say that is the most common use, and I would say it's often the highest and best use if that opportunity were to emerge. I'm not even sure that that falls within what Kelly was thinking, but I'm just sort of trying to answer the question as fully as I can. The other case where we have used contingency funds is in a case where you find that there are stakeholders or people with lived experience or marginalized communities who are overrepresented in the homeless population or the housing unstable population who are perhaps not having meaningful opportunity to engage in the planning process because of some kind of scheduling, accessibility, different kinds of issues. And so we have in the past been able to use those funds to expand the opportunities for stakeholder engagement. That is also an excellent use. And we've also had contingency funds that we did not use because we finished the project as planned, on time and on budget.
All right, thank you so much. And we'll see if we can get the Vice Mayor back here. But in the short term, let's see if there are any other questions from council. Okay, Mr. Schwedhelm.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd move a resolution of the Council of the City of Santa Rosa approving a professional services agreement with Focus Strategies for the development of a homeless solution strategic plan in the amount of $100,000 for an initial 6-month period, which is March 1, 2022 to August 31st, 2022, with an option to extend for an additional 6-month period, which is September 1st, 2022 through February 28th, 2023, and authorize the Chief Financial Officer to appropriate $100,000 for this purpose from Homeless Fund 1209 reserves and waive further reading the text.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Schwedhelm and a second from Councilmember Rogers. Let's go ahead and call the vote.
Councilmember Schwedhelm?
Aye, and we'll have time for comments after the vote. Thank you.
Councilmember Sawyer?
Aye.
Councilmember Rogers?
Aye.
Councilmember McDonald?
Aye.
Councilmember Fleming?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Alvarez? Mayor Rogers?
Aye.
That motion passes with 6 ayes with Vice Mayor Alvarez absent.
And Councilmember Schwedhelm?
I do just want to comment on a couple things. First, the comment about the PIT data. It was kind of interesting because Homebase did provide feedback to our strategic planning committee with the continuum of care, and they analyzed the data regarding the last point in time count. Well, that was from 2022, so 2 years old. And I asked them that very question: how do you incorporate that? Are there the same trends? Because what's happened between 2020 and 2022? So they're in a tough spot there, the continuum of care. But as we get additional data, they'll be trying to factor that in. And then I really did appreciate Councilmember Fleming's question about the success rate. And I always look at consultants as, what we're hiring Focus Strategy to do is a process consultant and not what they call a doctor consultant. In other words, they're not coming here to fix our community. It's incumbent upon us, and that's why I think it's a great reminder. We're going to come up with a plan, and it's up to us, and I think Kelly mentioned it. It's not going to sit on the shelf. We need to be actively engaged, and we need to keep it a priority, and this is in my opinion. Or it will go like many of these other plans do. There's great plans, but if it just sits on a shelf, that's all it's going to do. This is going to be action-oriented, and I know the city manager is going to make sure we incorporate all this, and so that's a big difference. So I don't think it's 100% reflection of the consultant, because they can do all their great work, but if the entity or the client, aka City of Santa Rosa, if we drop the ball and we don't commit to what we said we were going to do, that's on us. So, but it's a great point to stay focused on it. And I do just really want to thank Kelly for the process that she was able to come up with. Developing the first round of questions, which was great, but the panel there, that collaboration from throughout different aspects of our community, and it was rich. It wasn't folks, I think all of us have been on some of these panels where some people, here's my numbers, and there's no engagement, no dialogue. That's not what occurred during this process. And especially when we got to the point where there's 2 top, tier 1 candidates, and And Kelly developed an additional set of questions with input from our community. She also did, some of the background check that we won't talk about. But some of that stuff, it helped us develop questions for when we had the in-person conversations, not the in-person, but the live conversations with both the consultants who are very well qualified. I think we're in a great position of it's going to be a win-win. So I really do appreciate, Kelly. I participate in a lot of these, but you did an outstanding job with this, and I think it's just going to be reflective of the end product that we are going to get to functional zero within the next couple of years, because I think this will set that roadmap for us to be successful. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Councilmember. Any other comments, questions? Great. Thank you again, Kelly, for all of your work, and thank you to the panel that really dug into the RFPs. We're looking forward to seeing what the report says when it comes back. Council, let's move now back to item 15.1. And again, for the public, we pulled item 14.2 for the day. That will come back at a later time. So we'll move back to item 15.1. That's our public hearing. Mr. Mitchell, thank you for joining us. We did have a chance to run through the initial presentation from our city clerk. And so where we were at was questions from council members about some of the different maps. And I'm wondering if you had anything you wanted to add first in terms of context from the presentation, or if we should just jump right into council member comments on the maps.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I think just one thing to kind of give context to these maps. First off, redistricting in California has changed significantly over the last decade. And the redistricting process is intended to be much more public-facing and community-based. And that's why in this presentation, we lead with what we've seen in public submissions. And our job really is to try to take what's being provided by the public, make it fit within the requirements of the law, because you have to make sure districts are equally populated, that they're compact, they're contiguous, and so on. And then work with you as the council members to try to come up with a mapping scenario that you feel works for you for the remaining decade. Now, there are structurally some things also to note in these plans. Traditionally, throughout the state, when we do redistricting, our draft plan A is somewhat of a minimum change plan. And in that plan, we show not only the new potential lines that you could adopt, but also where those small adjustments are made, largely for population, but also trying to snap those lines to any kind of neighborhoods or major streets. And then in the end, actually making a plan that is a little bit more compact than your current plan. There's also one difference between that draft plan A and both B and C, in that your current draft plan or your current plan has what some might refer to as kind of a donut district or an island in the middle, where you do have a district, that's district number 5, that is in the middle of your city with the other districts all around it. That allows you to have a district that has more of the downtown population in it. And the other plans, B and C, just kind of like from stepping away and looking at these kind of as a macro level, the big difference in these other plans, B and C, is that they don't have a district in the middle. All the districts come in from the outside. And so structurally, that might be something that is very appealing or not appealing, but that is one kind of like major difference in this plan, that relationship of either having one district that's kind of in the middle or having all the districts kind of come from the outsides. Your current total plan deviation is over 20%, meaning that you need districts to be within 10% total plan deviation. And so you have to basically at least have that difference between your largest and smallest districts. That puts you kind of in the middle around the state in terms of the amount of change that you're going to be required to have in your redistricting. We've had some redistrictings where agencies have been able to adopt their existing lines because they were under 10%. We've had others that had their boundaries be a 70% total plan deviation, meaning that their largest district was 3/4 of a district larger than their smaller district. So you could, in this instance, choose to stick with the existing structure, a minimum change option, or you could look at these other plans B and C that are drawn from public submissions and decide to go in a kind of different direction with your plan for the next decade. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you being on here and providing that context. Council, do we have any questions? So I had a couple of questions on map A, and I asked this specifically last time, and I'm still looking for an answer on it. But if you look at the southwest corner of District 5, so you talked about the donut, there is right along West 3rd Street, there's a jut out after Stony Point. It's the only part of the district that crosses Stony Point. And my question is why? Is it for population balancing? Is it for demographic balancing? Because I seem to remember last time when we were discussing this, I dropped it into our redistricting website, changed that back to its original district, which is District 7 in our existing maps, and it didn't unbalance the population more, or at least not substantially. So I'm wondering if you can give us a little bit of context around why that change is being recommended.
Yeah, I believe that change was a change to deal with population. So it pushed, But you're saying that when you actually did the change, it didn't make much population difference?
So with the map, the way that it's being presented right now, the maximum population deviation is 2.57 with that jut out. If that jut is put back into District 7, it does push up the max population deviation, but only to 4.58.
Maybe to like, yeah, so I see what you're saying. So the current District 7 is at 3.1 over population. So if you were to say, I want to use draft plan A, but I want to keep District 7 the same, then doing that would have your total plan deviation be 5.7, I think, because you still have a District 2 that is over by 2.6 in draft plan A. So 2.6 plus 3.1 would be 5.7 total plan deviation. But that would be something that you could choose to do. I can double check to make sure there's not an issue there with that census block. But yeah, I think that you could say, I want to use draft plan A, but keep District 7 the same.
All right, I appreciate that. I keep asking the question not because I think that it should be in one district or the other, but because it does stand out literally like a sore thumb. And part of what we do have to do is go back and explain to the public how and why the districts were shaped the way that they were. And I just never want to give the impression to the public that we did things for a reason other than what we were legally permitted to do or for our communities of interest.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely look into that, but if it's one of the criteria in the rank criteria from the Fair Maps Act is that districts are understandable by voters. And it seems as though following a major road there or maintaining the existing boundary might make those lines be more understandable by voters. And so that could be one way to interpret that criteria and to maintain that line there. And I can look and make sure there's nothing wrong with doing that based on, there were some changes in the census block boundaries in ways that were kind of unexpected that did make some of the existing lines not possible to follow in some of our redistrictings. I'm not sure if that's the case here, but if something like that were the case, I could let you know. But making a suggestion like, hey, I want to see a map A2 that takes A but maintains the existing lines in 7 would be a way to kind of characterize a potential new map to come back at your next hearing.
Okay. And then for map C, I believe it's map C. We can pull that one up. Maybe it's map B. My apologies. No, it is map C. So on map C, it does look like it cuts through the middle of Roseland I think this is a different map. So consultants map C. Yeah, there you go. If you look at the difference, the line between districts 1 and 7, that cuts through Roseland, which is our predominantly Latino neighborhood, or one of the predominantly Latino neighborhoods for our community, and has been identified in Portrait of Sonoma County and other resources as a disadvantaged community. This map might be population balanced, but does it meet the criteria that we have around not disenfranchising minority voters?
Well, I think there are a couple ways of looking at that. One is through the Voting Rights Act lens. And in that lens, you're looking at districts based on whether or not they are disenfranchising voters and their ability to elect a candidate of their choice. And that lens requires you to have districts that can be majority-minority Latino, as opposed to simply like a plurality or some smaller percentage of Latino. So it doesn't become a Voting Rights Act concern. What it is potentially a community of interest concern. And communities of interest in the rank criteria is a pretty high criteria. And so if there is a identified community of interest there, especially if there were to be any public submissions of an area that a community group came forward and said, this is our community of interest and we want to keep it whole, then that definitely could be something to consider. There was a Roseland neighborhood community of interest that was submitted that you could utilize and say, well, I want to make sure that when we draw District 7, we maintain that Roseland neighborhood and use that as the basis. You would want to use that public submission as the basis rather than talking about the potential change based solely on a racial factor, because we don't have the protection under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act to do that. But you could, as an example, say, well, if we bring back Map C, I want to see it keeping that Roseland community whole. And if it's not possible to do that, then to just not have Map C come back because you're concerned about that community.
I appreciate that. I'm going to bury the lead a little bit here, but I have a hard time with Map B, one of the maps, because it splits Coffee Park, which is a community of interest, in half. And then one of our other ones, Map C, I might have those backwards. So C splits Roseland, which is a community of interest. B splits Coffee Park, which is a community of interest, which only leaves us then really with A, which is substantively what we have now. And so that's the part that I'm struggling with a little bit as we discuss what redistricting looks like and into the future. Is we have a couple of maps that have been submitted by the public that envision things a little bit different, but really there's out of the 3 that are being presented, 2 of them are completely unworkable to me for that reason. So that's why I asked the question about legal protections around it. Council, are there any other questions for Mr. Mitchell? Councilmember Rogers?
This may have been answered already in our first, second, third, or fourth meeting. But my question is, when you're submitting a map, do you have to be a resident of the city of Santa Rosa? And how is that checked or not checked? And I'm wondering, because when I look at some of the maps, I'm wondering what is the motive behind the way some of the maps are drawn. And that's just my wondering. Inquiring minds want to know what people are thinking when they're drawing some of these maps, and what are their motives in doing so, and splitting Coffee Park or splitting Roseland or some of those things. So what is the...
You do not have to be a resident to have submitted a map. I also want to mention, the mayor focused on the 3 maps that have been identified as Map A, B, and C. Council can also consider any of the maps, obviously, that were submitted by the public. So those are also on the table.
And throughout every state we've worked in, every local government we've worked in, there has never been any agency that's restricted public submissions only to the residents of the agency. It just traditionally hasn't been done, but we look at these maps that get submitted basically on the face of, and see if they do kind of meet the criteria. And when they don't, or when they split a community of interest, then that's where your prerogative is to prefer one map over another, for sure.
Any other questions, council? All right, so Madam City Clerk, can you, before we go to the public hearing, can you remind the council and the public sort of what the process looks like from here on out? This is our fifth meeting on this. What are our options going forward from tonight?
As I mentioned in the presentation, what we need from council is to direct us to either elevate some of these maps for official consideration and or give us direction to modify the maps. As Mr. Mitchell indicated, you can direct us that you like map A but want a map A2 with the district line reinstated for District 7 to remain the same. So any kind of feedback like that, so that when we come back on the 29th, we have some maps for council to officially consider with the possible adoption of one of those maps.
Okay, so if the council chose to elevate one of the maps tonight, it'd be brought for approval on the 29th. If council wanted to modify it, do we have to come back and do another public hearing and then bring it at a later council meeting, the approval?
We do, if you modified it tonight, we do need to make that map available to the public on the website. We have to publish that modified map for 7 days before the next public hearing. And at that time, at the next public hearing, if council wants to adopt that map, they can. An ordinance will be provided for council to adopt the new district map for council members.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's go ahead and go to our public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing. We'll start with our comments on Zoom, and I have Gregory Fearon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to give you a little bit of background on the 3 different maps which I evidently submitted. The first map was not supposed to be a council district map submission. It's 446, the one that's actually in your gallery. Please take that out. I wasn't considering that as a council submission. In fact, as you remember, the last time you did a redistricting, I was very active, and one of my maps ended up in one of the final decisions. So I thought, wow, why don't I play with this redistricting and see if I can do a similar job. I found the communities of interest mapping much more interesting to me than I did the actual submission. So the one that's in there just has my little, neighborhood. It says Gregory. So please take it out. The other 2 were more interesting to me, and I think consistent with what you're trying to get by preserving communities of interest. The first one was I just been at a CAB meeting, and as you know, Santa Rosa Together is very interested in trying to make both CAB and the city and its actions neighborhood based. So I took the CAB boundaries and used the community of interest map that you have to try to draw the CAB boundaries, just to see if I could, make sense of whether or not that old map that was done for CAB had anything to do with communities of interest. So there is one in the communities of interest that says CAB. It's not a submission for the city because CAB only has 5 districts and you have 7. But it was an interesting map, and I submitted just for that interest. There is one that says SRT. It's also in the communities of interest. And I want to point out that that was going to be my attempt, not at trying to figure out a council district, but figuring out where the communities of interest are in the city. And I put 3 or 4 in there, and that's what you see if you pull up that map. But it's not complete. what I wanted to do, and I didn't know that I had to do it so fast, but I wanted to ask everybody I know in the city to draw their communities of interest and use that one communities of interest map to try to come up with a communities of interest all city wide, which then I would try to take, if we were doing this logically, and draw a council districts. But unless you know the communities of interest, just like I know most of you do, you can't really do a council district map that has anything to do with communities of interest. But I think that's the way to go. Now, you don't have enough time to do that. So I guess what I'm saying is that's been my experience. If that helps you understand what at least one member of the public out here is trying to do with your mapping system, my overall comment is you got better tools this time. I was fascinated with the communities of interest one. And I think even if you no matter what you do with the district, I'm hoping you keep that up, because I'd like to, build maps based on communities of interest for lots of other things. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Gregory. We'll go to Brian.
Sorry, I was on mute. Brian Ling, and I'm on the Charter Review Committee as well. At the prior hearing, I testified in favor of Map A and want to just reiterate that my encouragement is Map A. The consultant mentioned public submissions, and for somebody like me that likes the existing map, I did not give a public submission other than this testimony, so please accept that accordingly. My reason are minimal disruptions to the existing district boundaries. One of the problems, you start changing things around, it creates confusion, and I think confusion is probably the single reason why eligible people don't vote, and we want to get as many people to the polls as possible. Additionally, the CRC, through a number of our discussions on the different items, we've been consistent almost unanimously that we need to give district elections a chance. Our current boundaries, we have officially elected one person in each boundary. We've had one election, and we need to have a couple cycles and really play this out. And it's an experiment that has played itself very well in the results so far, and I see good things ahead. And I think it's best to just keep these boundaries, and maybe 10 years from now, it might be time to make some changes, and we will have learned a lot more between now and then. So I support the council to continue with Map A, and that's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Brian. We'll go to Ananda.
Good evening, Mayor Rogers and council members. This is Ananda Sweet with the Santa Rosa Metro Chamber of Commerce. The Santa Rosa Metro Chamber supports a few key principles for the 2022 redistricting process. First, we support minimal changes to ensure population balance while causing minimal disruption. For the last 2 years, virtually every aspect of life has been changed dramatically by the COVID-19 pandemic. We continue to face uncertainty and really need a council that can move forward and guide Santa Rosa efforts through ongoing pandemic challenges and recovery. Major changes would disrupt this needed focus, and minimal challenges to the districts that ensure population balance will support an effective and collaborative city council. We would also urge you to keep as many districts representing the downtown core as possible. Downtown Santa Rosa is at a critical time in its history, and one that requires as many council districts as possible to have a direct stake in downtown's future. The reunification of Courthouse Square and creation of a downtown action organization were critical steps to support a vibrant downtown. Investment downtown represents an opportunity to generate lasting benefits, including thriving employers, access to good jobs, business retention and recruitment, environmentally sustainable development, and increased tax revenue and property value. These benefits offer a high return on investment, and maximizing the opportunities to create a vibrant downtown is critical to the success of our city. Our final principle aligns with the benefits of minimal change, but we feel is valuable to call out on its own, and that's to keep Coffee Park and Fountain Grove in separate districts. As both continue to rebuild and recover from the devastation of the Tubbs fire and have endured delays magnified by the pandemic, it would best serve both communities to maintain their inclusion in separate districts, allowing one city council member to focus on each area individually and better support their recovery. So these principles at this time best align with MAP A, and we would urge you to support these principles. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananda. I see no other hands. Did we have any voicemail public comments?
We have no voicemail public comment.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing, bring it back to council. So council, I think what we'll do is we'll go down the line and have folks give their preferred choice of how we move forward, either to recommend a map and see if we have consensus, or to offer modifications of a map to bring back, or to offer a couple of maps that you'd like to continue to bring back and do another public hearing on. I'll start all the way to my left with Councilmember Sawyer. Welcome to your new seat.
Thank you, Mayor. Does this mean that I just start every time? Just checking.
Oh, we'll switch off.
Okay. From the middle out as well. I have yet to, over the years of dealing with this particular map, the status quo, I have not received one email, nor have I received one phone call that complained about the map. Maybe it's because it's new and people had not lived with it long enough, and maybe in the future there will be reasons to make changes to this particular map. But I agree with the callers. I truly believe that minimum changes and minimal disruption will create minimal disruption and minimal confusion. And I'm not really sure what to do about that one change that you mentioned, Mayor. I mean, it would take another hearing. But I agree with you that it is unfortunate that it's like that. It would be nice to be consistent. If I was in that little bulb out, I would wonder why, and whether that's a good enough reason to, if it's not too much difficulty to revisit that and with another hearing, then I would be in favor of doing that. I just I think in the spirit of consistency, it would be nice not to have that one piece, if we can get away with it without creating going awry of the process and law. So I'm really ready to move forward with Map A. I'm just not sure what to do with that one little piece that you brought to our attention.
Thank you, Councilmember. We'll go to Councilmember Sweatham.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So overall, I am in support of MAP A with the adjustment that you talked about, because really someone from the outside looking, like, that's the definition of gerrymandering. I'll bet you there's a council person who lives in that little bulb out. So I think that needs to be fixed. And again, knowing that the road, it's Stony Point Road, to me, it's a no-brainer. Let's eliminate that closer to what we have now. And overall, I'm supportive of what we did in 2018, because we just did it in 2018. We're learning, the community is understanding and learning the difference between general election and district elections, and more importantly, who their representative is. So whatever adjustments we make so we're consistent with the law, I'm very supportive. I would also in favor of getting rid of Map B, because quite frankly, it's trying to use the right word without sounding too aggressive, but some of the neighborhoods, you mentioned it, Mr. Mayor, that Coffee Park is gone. So the United States Speaker of the House came to Coffee Park on December 18th. She didn't come to Apple Valley. Why? Because that community showed what it's like if you get together after you've received, this devastating incident, the Tubbs fire, you come together as a community and rebuild. And she said this is a place where other communities can examine, follow the lead here. And if you look on the slide that talks about maps to review, there's no longer Coffee Park doesn't exist, nor does Fountain Grove. And then District 3, they mentioned Kenwood. Last time I checked, that's not even in the city. They don't even mention Oakmont. And again, District 6, Apple Valley is in the district, but that's not what District 6 in Northwest Santa Rosa has been about. So I would like to eliminate map B from future discussions because I just don't think it has any value whatsoever. I'm supportive of map A with little micro adjustments such that you suggested.
Thank you, Councilmember. We'll go to Councilmember Fleming.
Yes, I do, because for whatever reason, I remain unable to see street lines. Wonder if on map A, if the fairgrounds remains in District 2 or if it's in District 1. Is somebody more able to tell?
Yeah, it does remain. It remains in District 2. So the line is Hendley that comes down on the west side of the fairgrounds.
Okay, that makes sense to me. The comments that I have largely been shared. The one reason why I'm, I would like to have all of our districts be population balanced, but the jut out from District 5 into District 7, the real issue there for me is that it's not, we don't have a good rationale for it here. And so if I can't explain something to myself, I'm not going to ask the public to try to explain it. So I think we have to scrap that on the basis that it sows confusion, and when there's confusion, there's doubt, and we lose trust. And then I just wanted to add one other comment, which is that the map that has my name on it was not submitted by me. I don't know who submitted it. It's a good map, but it was not submitted by me. And I agree with Tom. I think it's fine to scrap map B. I know that my residents in Fountain Grove would not be thrilled to have their neighborhood separated into multiple districts. I think that would be difficult for them to continue their advocacy that way.
Okay. Councilmember McDonald.
So I too am in favor of map A, and I agree with the mayor on that little piece that jumps out. We just had for the first time somebody be able to be elected from that district. And so my question, it's kind of a question and a comment. Prior to this little map on A, that little piece was always in District 7 and prior to this. So with that shift and change, that's what I would be in favor of. I think one of the things they talked about and discussed was ensuring that voters know where to go for voting, and I would hate to have any small change like that change even where they report to voting, and I'm not sure how that would work. But I think just for that consistency, as Mr. Ling actually mentioned on the phone, to make sure that we don't cause confusion would be something I would be in favor of.
Councilmember Rogers.
I am definitely in favor of tossing out B and C. I like map A, and I like Stony Point going down Stony Point and getting rid of the thumb or whatever you referred, even if it means we have to have another public hearing. I think that it needs to be done because it needs to be done. So thank you.
Mr. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Councilmember Rogers, for stating map C to be canceled out as well. I feel that both B and C do divide the community as the community of interest. So with that being said, I'm definitely advocating for map A for the reasons that our caller stated. We're just exploring what district elections are, and I feel that it'll be very confusing to now redraw the lines. I feel that it gives us time to grow as districts and figure out what we look at and identify and how we identify with each other. The 5th district being in the middle of 6 of our districts, I think it only speaks to how important downtown is to the vitality to each of our districts. So therefore, I really do love that District 5 is that donut hole of the baker's box, so to speak. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. So I too am going to throw my shoulder behind map A. I think that it makes the most sense. I was mentioning the jut out, but it wasn't going to be a sword that I was going to fall on, but it does sound like council generally agrees. Let's fix that so that we can then do this right and be able to explain to the public what we're doing. What I would want us to make sure that we're doing before we leave today's meeting, though, is giving some direction to the demographer that if that change is made and it's found that for whatever reason it unbalances the population or it needs to be changed, instead of having to do another public hearing, let's give a little bit of context to the demographer on where to balance. It seems a little bit obvious to me that if you move that chunk back into District 7, then if District 5 ends up below population, and just look at the balance of all of the other districts, District 2 is overbalanced. And so my suggestion would be that if the demographer needs to add some population into District 5 due to that change, that it does take somewhere in District 2 so that we stay within the deviation. That'd be my suggestion, but I'll kind of look to council to see. I'm seeing thumbs up over here.
If it helps, I've already sent the new map to the city, to your staff. I've done the changes and sent it to the staff, and it does fit within the 10% deviation. So draft plan A2 was, while you were talking, I was drawing. So draft plan A2 has been converted to a PDF and been sent to the city staff so that you can so you can receive it.
Okay, so we'll still need to see it for another public hearing because it wasn't made available to the public ahead of time, and we've seen that become a problem in some jurisdictions. But what you're saying is that if we get rid of that little jut out and then do nothing else to the map, it should be good.
Your total plan deviation ends up being 7.2, but that's well within the 10% range.
Okay, great. Then I think what I'm hearing from the council is direction to bring that map A with that one adjustment, bring that back to council as the sole map for approval for the public to weigh in on. If we still agree at that point, we'll then bring it as an action item for council to adopt that map.
It'll be labeled map A2.
Okay.
Yes, we will have that ready for council for March 29th.
Okay. All right. Any other feedback, comments from council? All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Mitchell. We really appreciate you jumping on to make sure we can keep this process moving forward. And thank you for the quick amendment on the map. We appreciate that as well.
Of course. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Okay. Council, we have no other items for presentation tonight. I will note that we have two written communications, items 16.1 and 16.2. You'll notice that there's more information provided than normal, and I want to give a shout out to Scott Alonso for that. They don't come with a presentation, but it's a little bit more context around the letters that we are sending on behalf of the city. I will open it up for public comment on items 16.1 and 16.2, however. So if you do have a comment tonight, hit the raise hand feature on your Zoom. And seeing none, do we have any voicemails?
We have no voicemail public comment on this item.
Okay, let's go to our final public comment for non-agenda items. That's item 17, and see if we have any hands on Zoom. And I'm not seeing any. Gonna double check with our team. Are we missing anything? It's been a fun meeting. Okay, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.